Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the genomic revolution and how BioNano Genomics can play its part. This industry is probably going to be worth trillions, not billions, but trillions. And I'm about to explain why. Today we're going to be talking about BioNano Genomics, the medical industry disruption, and a new age of health. Has BioNano Genomics got a part to play in this booming industry? So this penny stock is absolutely booming. As you can see here, this penny stock in December went from the 50-cent range all the way up to $3 range. So it's had a 5x return already. And in the aftermarket hours, I've never seen this sort of rush before. It's up another 30%. So is there reason and validation behind this bull rush? Let's find out. So we all have different lifestyle factors, we have different genetic traits. Lots of us have predispositions to certain illnesses. In layman's terms, in our very own DNA, there are certain genes which can be expressed. This means to be turned on. It can take a catalyst and numerous factors causing mutations, and this can then cause negative effects in the body, ultimately creating disease. If we look at the world as it is, there are hundreds and thousands of diseases and comorbidities that we could possibly get. This includes cancer, dementia, diabetes, to name a few. And ArkG believes that the genomic revolution can help the most with diabetes.
The biggest upside surprises are going to come from the genomic space. We even think it will work in diabetes, which is where most if you look at the largest category of spending year to year in healthcare, it's diabetes.
In these three comorbidities, we can see that diabetes has type 1 and type 2. There are over 415 million people living with diabetes, and also 46% of people with diabetes are still undiagnosed. This means that the figure by 2040 could reach 642 million people with diabetes. In 2018, there were 17 million new cases of cancer worldwide. This is predicted to reach 27.5 million new cases of cancer by 2040. Although these figures are a bit skewed because every year 9.6 million people die from cancer worldwide. And the figures for dementia is even greater. We have 50 million people currently with dementia globally. This is expected to triple by 2050. Next, we're going to look at the global economic costs of these three diseases. So globally, hundreds of millions of people are suffering with these diseases, and the economic costs of these diseases are absolutely huge. Here we can see the economic burden of cancer. We have an atlas of Europe. You can see how much it costs globally. 16.2 billion euros in United Kingdom, 19 billion in France, 18.5 billion in Italy, Germany 39.5 billion. The economic burden in terms of lost productivity and premature death from cancer is nearly 60% of the total economic burden associated with cancer. And here in China, the productivity loss because of cancer totals $30 billion. The cost of dementia alone is £26 billion a year, and globally the cost of dementia is totaling over $817 billion, and it's expected to rise. This study by King's College London suggested that the global cost of diabetes is set to double by 2030. This is amounting to $2.5 trillion. So why is all of this important? As we speak, investments are piling into early diagnosis and genetic editing. The reason is we can cut disease out before we even get sick. So what part does BioNano Genomics play in the whole genomic revolution? People are genuinely so bullish on this company. Pre-market values are soaring, and even at this current price, as you can see here, analysts are rating it as a buy. 3 analysts are saying buy, only 1 is saying hold. In the same way that Illumina was disrupted by PACB, BioNano Genomics released this article and basically stated that a publication of a study is now up. This study was done by the Human Genome Structural Variation Consortium, and it reveals that their sequencing method based on PacBio's hi-fi reads detected only 72% of the large structural variations that BioNano's optical genome mapping can detect. So they done this test across 32 different human genomes, and they were more effective than PacBio in detecting large structural variations. So this is why they can be industry breaking. Typically, to do this, it costs between $10,000 and $20,000 per genome, but the OGM system with Sapphire costs less than $500 per genome. So they're literally cutting that into pieces. So not only was it more accurate, but it was more cost efficient. In terms of accuracy, Eric Holmlin, which is the CEO of BioNano Genomics, was stating that in these studies, the longer read lengths improved the accuracy of structural variation cause. So you've got PACBio's focus, which matches Illumina with their light red quality. Their hi-fi reads are significantly shorter than their traditional long reads. By contrast, sapphire image molecules are 20 to 30 times longer than PioBac reads, so they can get a greater deal of accuracy. And here he says sequencing reads are not getting longer, which we believe implies that sapphire will remain the only effective and affordable technology currently capable of detecting structural rearrangements in the genome that are involved in disease. So if this is true, this machine right here can work magic, and it can actually be so useful for the genomic revolution. Imagine they can save you money as a laboratory, and they can also have higher efficiency. They can get those long reads to make sure that their calls are highly accurate. So a lot of structural variants that are missed by sequencing technologies, they can find. So this is usually highly relevant for neurodevelopmental disorders. These include like autism, learning disabilities, intellectual disability. And Regis College published here what you need to know about the 5 most common genetic disorders. So they listed Down syndrome here, thalassemia, cystic fibrosis, Tay-Sachs disease, and sickle cell anemia. So summarizing all of that, BioNano Genomics can play a key role in diagnosing disease. Next, let's look at the total market of the genomic industry. The digital genome market value can hit $50.4 billion by 2025. In this article, it states that the global genomics market can be as much as $82.6 billion by 2027. So those are the industry estimates, but the reality is, as we start to get better and better at cutting out different diseases and research gets better, the market is going to be worth trillions. Can you imagine if you have so much money in the world, but you're very sick, you have comorbidities? You could just simply pay and get your genetic testing, diagnosis, and then have genetic editing to edit out your disease. People want to live, and there are some things that money can't buy for now. But in the future, we can probably pay to get our disease removed from our bodies, increase our chances of survival, and ultimately live a longer, happier life. So in terms of market growth, this article is stating that the high growth is ascribed to key factors such as the rising consciousness of genetic roles in identification of chronic disorders such as cancer, rare disorders, diabetes. In addition, other factors impacting the development of the market are the growing elderly population. So we have a growing elderly population surge, we're living longer than ever, but some chronic illnesses stay with us for a lifetime. We need to diagnose these earlier, and BioNano Genomics can help us with that. So what has previously slowed down the growth of the digital genomic market is the lack of awareness regarding the digital genome. In addition, also the lack of trained staff for the digital genome in various developing economies will further impede the growth around the world. So here I'm going to show you some key dates. I went on the LinkedIn of BioNano Genomics, and as you can see, as we made it to the LinkedIn, we can see here 14 hours ago they released that there's going to be a presentation by Dr. Justin Balco, and he's going to be talking about non-inflammatory and inflammatory breast cancer and how he used the sapphire system in order to study the genomic structure of these. Dr. Justin M. Balco is a top researcher. He studied at the University of Buffalo, University of Kentucky, and he's looking at breast cancer, immunology, cancer biology, biomarkers, immune-related adverse events. Another key date to look out for is the 12th of January, and Dr. Jordana Raka was using the sapphire system and found rare and novel genetic drivers in pediatric BO. As you can see here, Dr. Jordana Raka is part of the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. She's a researcher also, specializing in cytogenomics laboratory. She's the director of the laboratory, and she's an expert in using genomic assay for diagnostics and research in oncology. So BioNano Genomics can find these structural variants, and this can be used to diagnose and detect in their specialized fields. Early detection means higher survival rates, and it seems like a no-brainer. So the company issues surround whether the technology is deemed viable, does it work, and they want to get their product in front of research institutions. So they struggled at first to get their tech out there, and now they changed their business model. So what they're doing is they're putting that machine out there because the machine's quite expensive. Instead of an institution or research laboratory having to fork up hundreds of thousands of dollars upfront, instead, they're now charging by use. And the good thing about that is they continue to run studies and collaborations with loads of these other companies, and they're charging per use. And their use is significantly lower than their competition. So as you can see, while people are charging between $10,000 and $20,000 per genome, the OGM system with Sapphire costs less than $500 per genome. They have proven to be working with Mayo Clinic, they've been working with UCLA, Penn State, working with lots of research institutions at the moment. So where are these guys going, and which customers will they be targeting? So their customers include researchers and clinicians who seek to uncover and understand the biological and clinical impact of genome variation. So these clients have ranged from the leading pharmaceutical and diagnostic companies, the world's most prominent clinical and translational research, basic research, academic government institutions. Some of these include Columbia University, Boston Children's Hospital, and many more. So as we can see here, they're saying that approximately there's 7,000 high throughput sequencers that are installed worldwide as of this moment. So these sequencers are developed and sold almost entirely by Illumina and are owned by an estimated 3,000 different unique customers. So their target is Illumina's clients. So they're saying that although the sequencing is very good for Illumina at detecting genome differences involving just a few base pairs, they struggle and cannot reliably detect the larger structural variations that their Sapphire system can detect. Therefore, Sapphire can be adopted alongside Illumina's clients and PACB's clients. Here, BioNano Genomics has said that their Sapphire system is beginning to be adopted by cytogenetic labs across the world, and they estimate that there's 2,500 cytogenetic labs existing worldwide. They then listed that research is being done by some of the world's biggest organizations, including World Health Organization, National Comprehensive Cancer Network, American College of Medical Genetics. They can all use and benefit their diagnostic tool, the Sapphire. So BioNano was saying that these customers will adapt the Sapphire system because they enable diagnosis at a low cost per patient, high speed and industry-leading performance, 99% sensitivity. This stock can surge this year and years to come if the potential clients are able to see this. I did so much research. Please like this video and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. I've got another few coming out on BioNano Genomics as well in the next few days. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you very much for watching. Mr. Investor Lot, over and out.